I never expected my life to change the day I posted that roommate ad online. Living in the city was expensive, and my 2-bedroom apartment felt too empty after my last roommate moved out. When Yuki showed up for the viewing, I was surprised. Fox ears, an actual tail, golden eyes that seemed to glow in certain light. "Is that real?" I'd asked, immediately regretting how rude it sounded. She'd smiled, patient. "Very real. I'm a kitsune. Is that going to be a problem?" It wasn't. 6 months later, living with Yuki had become the most normal thing in my world. She worked remotely doing graphic design, paid her half of everything on time, and made the best miso soup I'd ever tasted. Sure, she had quirks. The way she'd curl up on the couch with her tail wrapped around herself, how she'd sometimes stare out the window at the moon for hours, the soft chittering sounds she made when she was happy. But she was easy to live with. Quiet, kind, beautiful, if I was being honest with myself, though I tried not to think about that too much. That Tuesday evening started like any other. We were on the couch, her legs tucked under her, my feet on the coffee table, watching some cooking competition show. She was wearing one of my old college hoodies. She loved borrowing my clothes, said they smelled like safety, and her tail was draped across my lap. I'd stopped questioning that intimacy weeks ago. Then she grabbed the remote and muted the TV. The sudden silence made me turn to her. Her expression was serious, almost nervous. Her ears were flattened against her head. "Yuki, what's wrong?" "We need to talk about something important," she said softly. Her tail tightened slightly around my thigh. "I've been putting this off, but I can't anymore." My stomach dropped. Was she moving out? Had I done something wrong? "Our family will be visiting soon," she continued. "Next week, actually." I blinked. "Your family? That's great. I didn't know you had." "Our family, Ethan." The correction was gentle but firm. I stared at her. "Our family." She looked at me with those golden eyes, her head tilted slightly. "You really don't understand, do you? You live with me. You share your space, your food, your time. You've protected me. Remember when that drunk man followed me home? You didn't hesitate to stand between us." Her hand found mine. "In my culture, those bonds aren't casual. You're part of my family now. You have been for months." My heart was pounding. "Yuki, I'm just your roommate." "No." Her voice was soft but certain. "You stopped being just my roommate the first time you cooked for me when I was sick. The first time you touched my ears without fear. The first time you fell asleep with your head on my shoulder." I had no words. She squeezed my hand. "And they're coming to meet you. To see if you're worthy." I barely slept that night. Yuki had gone to her room after dropping that bomb, leaving me alone with 1,000 questions. Part of me wondered if this was some elaborate prank, but the serious look in her eyes had been too real. What did she mean by worthy? Worthy of what, exactly? The sun hadn't fully risen when I heard the first sound, a soft scratch at the living room window. 3rd floor. We were on the 3rd floor. I stumbled out of bed, pulling on sweatpants, and froze in the hallway. Through the morning dimness, I could see them. Eyes. Multiple pairs of glowing golden eyes, visible just beyond the glass of our balcony door. Some amber, some jade green, all watching. Unblinking. "Jesus," I stumbled backward. "Don't be afraid." Yuki's voice came from behind me. I turned to find her standing in her doorway, wearing silk pajamas that somehow made her look even more otherworldly in the dawn light. Her tail swished nervously. "They won't hurt you. They're just observing." "Observing? Yuki, what the hell?" "This is how it works." She moved past me toward the kitchen, surprisingly calm. "They arrive early. They watch. They assess whether you're a threat or—" She trailed off, starting the coffee maker. "Or what?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she pulled down 2 mugs, her movements careful. "Or if you're truly family. If you're someone who belongs with me." The scratching sound came again. I looked back at the window. The eyes had multiplied. There had to be at least a dozen now, all at different heights, some impossibly high. "How are they even? We're 3 stories up." "Kitsune can climb," Yuki said simply. "Among other things." She brought me a coffee, her fingers brushing mine as I took the mug. They were trembling. "Ethan, I need to tell you something else. Something important." My mouth was dry. "More important than the Fox people doing surveillance outside our window?" "Much more important." She set her own mug down, untouched. "In my culture, when a kitsune shares a den with someone for more than 2 seasons, when they trust that person with their vulnerable moments, it's not seen as casual cohabitation. What is it seen as? Her cheeks flushed, the color visible even with her pale skin. As courtship, as the beginning of a life bond. The coffee mug nearly slipped from my hands. You're saying, all this time. I thought you understood, she whispered. The way you cared for me. The way you let me wear your clothes, touch you, share your space so intimately. Humans don't usually allow that unless. Her voice cracked. Unless they feel something too. Outside, the eyes watched. Inside, my world tilted on its axis. Because she wasn't wrong. I had felt something. I just hadn't let myself name it. I need to get dressed. My voice sounded distant to my own ears. If they're coming in, they won't come in. Not yet. Yuki's hand caught my wrist, warm and gentle. First we talk. Really talk. Because what happens next, it changes everything. I sank onto the couch, my coffee forgotten. The morning light was stronger now, and I could make out shapes beyond the glowing eyes. Figures perched on the balcony railing, clinging to the building's facade, even sitting on the neighboring roof. All of them still. All of them watching us. Yuki sat beside me, close enough that her tail naturally curled around my waist. She'd done that 100 times before. Somehow it felt different now. My family isn't like human families, she began. We're a clan. 9 full-blooded kitsune, ranging from my Aunt Keiko, who's over 300 years old, to my cousin Hiro, who's barely 20. We live separately, but we're bound by old laws. Old traditions. And one of those traditions is approval. The word hung heavy. When one of us chooses a mate, especially a human mate, the clan must approve. They need to see that you're not using me, not taking advantage. That you understand what you're agreeing to. Yuki, I never agreed to. But you did. Her golden eyes met mine, intense. Every time you showed me kindness. Every time you defended me when your coworker made that joke about exotic roommates. Every time you touched my ears like they were precious instead of weird. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Every time you looked at me like I was beautiful. My throat tightened. You are beautiful. See. A sad smile crossed her face. You can't even help yourself. That's what the clan needs to see, that this is real. That you're not going to break my heart or abandon me when the novelty wears off. What happens if they don't approve? She went very still. Then I have to leave. Find a new home. Alone. The thought of the apartment without her humming while she cooked, without her tail smacking me accidentally when she got excited, without her falling asleep against my shoulder during movies, made my chest ache. And if they do approve? I asked quietly. Yuki's hand found mine, threading our fingers together. Then they'll offer you a choice. A real choice, Ethan. To become mine formally. To accept the bond that's already been growing between us. And if I say yes? Her breath caught. Then you'll be mine and I'll be yours. In every way that matters. Her thumb traced circles on my palm. Forever isn't quite literal for my kind, but it's close enough. We mate for life. Outside, as if in response, several of the watchers shifted. Moved closer to the glass. They're waiting, Yuki whispered. Are you ready? Yuki stood, smoothing down her silk pajama top. I'll let them in. But Ethan, she turned back to me, vulnerable in a way I'd never seen. Whatever happens, know that what I feel for you is real. It has been for months. Before I could respond, she moved to the balcony door. The moment she slid it open, they poured in, not roughly, but with an otherworldly grace that made my breath catch. Fox people of varying ages, all with those distinctive ears and tails, all with eyes that glowed in shades of gold and amber and green. They filled our small living room in seconds, silent except for the soft whisper of clothing and the occasional rustle of multiple tails. The temperature seemed to rise with their presence, bringing scents of pine forest and wild jasmine. An older woman stepped forward, silver streaks in her black hair, 3 tails instead of 1. This had to be Keiko. So, her voice was smooth, assessing. This is the human who's captured our Yuki's heart. I stood, trying to ignore how badly my hands wanted to shake. My name's Ethan. We know who you are. A younger male kitsune spoke, his single tail lashing. We've been watching longer than just this morning. We've seen how she looks at you. How you look at her. Hiro, Keiko said sharply. Mind your manners. She turned back to me, circling slowly. I felt like prey being evaluated. Tell me, Ethan, do you know what you've done? The bond you've been building with our kin. I'm starting to understand. My voice was steadier than I expected. Yuki explained some of it. Did she explain what it means for a human to bond with a kitsune? Another woman spoke, this one with twin tails, her expression severe. The responsibilities? The permanence. I know it's serious. Serious. The woman laughed, but it wasn't cruel. Boy, if Yuki completes the bond with you, you'll feel her emotions. Her pain. Her joy. You'll be connected in ways that terrify most humans. You'll age slower once the magic takes hold. You'll become part of something ancient and strange. She leaned close. And you'll never be able to walk away. Not really. Even if you tried, part of you would always be here, with her. Yuki made a small sound of distress. Aunt Michi. He deserves to know the truth. Michi's green eyes pinned me. So tell us, human, why should we allow this? Why should we let you bind yourself to our youngest, our sweetest, our most trusting? Her voice dropped dangerously. Give me one reason why you're worthy of her. The room went silent. All eyes on me. And in that moment, I realized the answer was simple. Because I love her, I said quietly. And I'm not going anywhere. The silence that followed my declaration was absolute. Then Keiko's stern expression cracked, and she smiled, really smiled, warm and genuine. Well said, young man. She looked at Yuki, who had tears streaming down her face. Your instincts were correct, little one. He speaks truth. We all can sense it. Hiro, the younger cousin, stepped forward. Still, words are easy. We need to see it. Feel it. He looked at me challengingly. You'll submit to the testing? What kind of? Touch her, Keiko interrupted. Not as a roommate. Not casually. Touch her the way you've wanted to for months, but were too afraid to acknowledge. My heart hammered. Here. In front of everyone. We need to witness the bond, Michi explained, her voice softer now. See how your energies interact. If there's true compatibility, we'll know. Yuki was trembling, her tails. Wait, she had two now. I'd only ever seen one, wrapped around herself protectively. You don't have to. I crossed to her in 3 strides. Ethan. I cupped her face in my hands, tilting it up to mine. Her skin was warm, softer than anything I'd ever touched. I should have done this weeks ago, I whispered and kissed her. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. Heat flooded through me, not painful, but intense, like summer sun after a long winter. Yuki gasped against my mouth, her hands fisting in my shirt, pulling me closer. Her lips tasted like honey and magic, and when I deepened the kiss, I felt something shift between us, like a lock finally clicking into place. Power surged through the room. I heard the other kitsune make sounds of approval, of awe. When we finally broke apart, breathless, Yuki's eyes were glowing brighter than I'd ever seen. Ethan, she whispered, touching her lips in wonder. I can feel you. Inside my heart. I feel you too. And I did. A warm, golden presence nestled in my chest, pulsing with emotion. Joy. Love. Relief. Is this the beginning of the bond? Keiko confirmed. Her smile was radiant. It will deepen over time, but yes, you're connected now. Congratulations, you're officially part of this chaotic family. The other kitsune crowded around, offering congratulations and welcome. Hiro clapped me on the shoulder. Michi actually hugged Yuki, whispering something that made her laugh and cry at the same time. As the celebration swirled around us, Yuki pulled me close, her tails wrapping around us both. Thank you, she whispered against my neck. For choosing me. For choosing us. I held her tighter, breathing in her scent, jasmine and home. I love you. I should have said it sooner. You can spend the rest of our very long life making up for it, she teased, then kissed me again. And surrounded by her family, our family, I knew I'd finally found where I belonged. The end.